You mark my words, Jimmy Joe. No good will come of them kids. They're wicked, and the stars above has their eyes on them. As Jimmy Joe watched Piper at the notice board, he could see no sign of her wickedness, only her ineptitude. She was dropping tacks willy-nilly, trying to pick them up and keep the notice on the board all at the same time. She might be able to fly, but she sure as heck couldn't tack a piece of paper up on a board. Watching her made Jimmy Joe feel antsy and superior. "You gotta hold 'em at an angle," he called out. "Don't drive 'em in straight like that or they won't go." She took his advice, but her tack tumbled off again. "Shoot!" Jimmy Joe threw his bat down. "Get out of the way. If I don't do it, it'll never get done." Snatching the tacks out of Piper's hand, he pushed her aside and set about jamming one tack into each corner of the flyer. When he was finished, he stood back to take a look at his work, and it was only then that he read the words on the paper itself. Flying lessons. Have you ever wanted to fly? Now is your chance. I can teach anyone to fly. I have years of flying experience. Beginners welcome. Contact Piper McCloud. Jimmy Joe felt tricked. "What's this?" "Flying lessons," Piper said brightly. "I'll start out with lessons, but maybe in time I can have a whole flying school." "No one wants your fool lessons." He snatched up his bat and walked away. "No one cares anything about flying." "Sure they care." Piper followed him, bubbling with excitement. "Who wouldn't want to fly? You can get places faster and see things from up high that you can't see when you're on the ground. When the breeze is blowing, it lifts you up, up, up." There she went with all her talking. Jimmy Joe knew better than to listen, and he waved her away like she was a gnat. Or something lower than a gnat. "That's not true. You don't know what you're saying." Piper flew over him and landed in front. He made sure not to slow down, and that forced her to fly backward. "I'll tell you this," she said. "One time I was flying over the Grand Canyon, and this condor with wings bigger than my whole body came flying up to me." She spread her arms out wide, causing Jimmy Joe to get a vivid image in his mind's eye of the bird and what it must be like to fly through the Grand Canyon. "That condor wanted to get a good look at me, so I let him. That's the truth. Another time, when I was flying over the Pacific Ocean, I saw something swimming way down low, and it was big and long, but it wasn't a whale. It was something else, something no one has ever seen before." "Like what?" "I don't know. What'd it look like?" Piper checked to make sure no one was listening, and then she leaned in. It looked like a sea monster. Jimmy Joe snorted and pushed her out of the way. "Stop making things up." "I could teach you flying tricks. I know lots of those." A fully formed picture of himself diving through the air exploded like a kernel of popcorn inside Jimmy Joe's head, and suddenly his heart began to beat faster. Maybe he'd look good flying. "What kind of tricks?" Piper threw her arms up. "All kinds. Whatever you want. I learned how to do this corkscrew that turns into a dive. It makes you dizzy, but it's fun all the same." Those blue eyes of hers were sparkling now in the way she made them shine so that you couldn't look away. "Or, if you don't want to go high, I can teach you to stay low to the ground and thread through trees. It's tricky, and you gotta be real agile and keep your eyes open." She took his arm, pulling him. "Come on, we can start your first lesson right now." She was so close that her scent went right up his nostrils before he could stop it. But it wasn't like he'd thought. She didn't smell like bird poop or dirt or anything close to that. She smelled like getting a day off school when you weren't expecting to. She smelled like catching a fly ball in your baseball mitt while everyone was watching and cheering. Her smell made him want to hit something. "I don't want your fool lessons, and no one else will neither. Get away! Get!" He pointed his finger at the ground like she was a mangy dog. "That's not nice."